Shalom. So today we're going to talk about the international dateline, right? So we're going to be exploring a few aspects of this, right? So the first one we'll be looking at is Abar Kadabar. What? Abar Kadabar. That sounds like Hebrew. So why do I need to put Hebrew in everything? Yeah, that's because Hebrew is everything, or rather, Hebrew created everything. How long are we going to pretend as if the earth was not, the heaven and the earth were not created out of 22 letters? How long are we going to pretend as if the Shah and the Ma were not did not create the heavens? The Shamayim, fire and water, the elements, right? So you cannot leave out the DNA and the 22 letters that make up the Hebrew language are actually the DNA that created everything. So in the beginning, when he said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Yes, the Word was power. There's power in the Hebrew tongue. This is why magicians, no matter whether it's a French magician, a Spanish magician, whatever tongue they speak, they always say this in this language. Why? Why they don't translate it to their language and say it? Abracadabra, boom. Rabbit out of a hat. Abracadabra, boom. Water into wine. Abracadabra, boom. Whatever. What is it about this language? It has power. Abar, Kadabar. I create as I speak. Let there be light. And there was light. Abar, Kadabar. Let there be trees. Let there be fishes. Abar, Kadabar. There were trees. There were fishes. Right? So we get the concept of this. Right? Like I said, time is a construct of the mind, right? And it depends on where your mind is at. That's how you will perceive time, right? So when you're dealing with day, you actually have to deal with the movement of lights. So you can understand that nature determines when the day starts and when the day ends, not a group of European men, right? Meridian, longitude. Who decides where the 0 degrees should be? The Most High, nature, or a community of men from Europe? Yes, there might have been a few people from South America and Africa that were invited to the Meridian Conference in 1884, but just because they were invited, it doesn't mean that they actually had voices. Meaning, if they were to veto where this 0 degrees should be, would it change anything really? Why do all the maps look like this? You think if a bunch of Africans and South Americans were to come together at a table and make a map, it would actually look like this? Really? Right. So latitude as well, right? Dealing with the equinox. Do we deal with equinox or do we deal with year's end? Because you see, Daniel 7 and 25 had to come to fulfillment, right? Everyone talks about this equinox. What scripture can you correlate this, what you call equinox, with in the Bible? The Bible talks about the year end, not equinox. So we're going to explore this equinox and let nature or science decide, right? Science is knowledge, science is nature, not a bunch of theory that is on paper that people write and recite, and it seems functional because no one is questioning the validity of what was written, right? Extra days, and this is very interesting because it ties in with this so-called equinox at on the 20th or the 21st of March. So we will get back to this point, right? So let's start with a day. We know a day has 12 hours. One day equal 12 hours. You see, back in the primitive time, ancient days, mathematics was very important. Astronomers, seers, prophets, wizards, witches, whatever you call them. Well, based on certain laws in the Bible, we should not deal with those words. So let's use something that Christians, Hebrews, pagans can all work with. That doesn't create confusion. So let's work with the word that is more formal. Scientists, right? But then these people were important to connect with what's going on up there, right? So mathematics, like I said, is very important because you need calculations to do a lot of things. And the numbers in the scriptures, they are very deep spiritually, right? 3, number 9, 12, 7, all of these, they have deep connections, right? But we're not gonna get into all this numerology thing right now. Now, one day equals 12 hours. Now it says a day has 2 parts, right? 2 parts. What are they called? A morning and an evening. So it has 2 parts, morning and evening. There are 12 hours. So 12 divided by 2 is 6 hours of morning plus 6 hours of evening. This is what nature says, right? Now, a community of men say otherwise. They say your day is not going to have 12 hours, but it's going to have 24. 24 hours. And your nights will have, let me see, if there are 24 hours in the day, then the night must have how many hours? Maybe 24 or 0 hour, whatever it is. Who's going to question it? If they say 24 hours in the day, then 24 hours are in the day, right? If whatever is in the night, whatever that is. Now, the Most High says your day is going to begin when the light is ushering in. These people say your day is going to begin in the middle of the night. I'm not sure how that works. But since everything is systematic calculations, no one needs to question it. We just follow the program, the virtual program. So in the middle of the night, that's going to be the first hour of your day, according to people who live in this region here. This is called Europe. Right? Now, back to nature. How does morning and evening work? How do morning and evening work when it comes to nature? All right. So I am here, right? Morning would be the ushering of the light. This is the movement of the sun. This is the movement of the sun. So here would be Africa, right? When the sun is at the horizon here, the eastern horizon for us. So that would be a person in Africa, let's say having midday. Where would the sun position be? Above head here, right? Now, when they're in their 6th to 7th hour of the day for Africa, guess what? We are just ushering in our dawn. So we would be having what? Our first hour here. Now, when the sun travels over here and it's over our heads, we'll be having solar midday, right? While Africa would be doing what? Coming to an end of their 12th hour, the end of their evening, going into their night, right? While we are having midday, the sun is above head here. It's called the zenith. So, from the first hour to the 6th hour, morning, from the 7th to the 12th, evening. So the 6th to the 7th, the sun is at the zenith. That's overhead and that's midday. Now, being here having midday, guess what? When the sun is going to the western horizon, we are being separated from day and ushering in our night. So that's the 12-hour process. And it goes back around the Pacific and comes back, and the cycle keeps going over and over. And this is what it means when it says the earth is a circle. Because you do what? You can either go into this time zone or this time zone. You cannot go outside of that. It's a circle. Now, most of the times people confuse circle with the shape of a ball. Because what? That's what we've been taught from an early age in science class, right? That the earth looks like a ball. A ball can be circular, but a circle doesn't have to be a ball. So in this diagram here, this is not a representation of a ball. It's just circular, right? So we understand the concept of day. So when the light is coming in, the day is coming in. That's why I said he named the light day, right? No, when the light goes away, by default, it's going to be night. So the absence of light is dark. The absence of day is night. It's one and the same, right? So we understand this concept here. When Africa is getting their first hour, when Africa is getting the first hour, the sun is here coming across. 6th to 7th hour, the sun is overhead. It's called zenith. While Africa is having solar midday, we over here are going into our first hour. When Africa is in the 12th hour of the day, they are going to usher in their night, their first hour of the night. and we would be we'll be having our solar midday. That's when the sun is at the zenith. That is to say, 6th to 7th hour.